I'd like to say good morning to everyone and welcome to our alumni panel discussion. I'm Dr. Deidre Guyton, Director of Alumni Affairs and the Executive Director of the Bluefield State College Foundation. We have several topics for discussion. We're going to discuss family, heritage and tradition, perseverance, and success, all coming from an HBCU. We're delighted to have alums who are successful in their current careers with us today to share their views on these four topics. I'm going to introduce James J. Gray, Kelly Pulowski, Zach Helton, and I hope she doesn't mind me calling her Bree Vineyard. Alums, welcome. And let's start off with you all telling us just a little about yourselves. Let me get this mic out. And we'll start over here on our far with Zach.
Yeah, I'm Zach Helton. I am currently the Director of Broadcasting here at Bluefield State College. Since graduating from Bluefield State College in 2012, I've worked up in many different locations of broadcasting, including Charlotte, New York. I would say pretty soon I'm getting close to about 1,000 games on the air. If not lots, we're having fun, but it's an enjoyable time to be here at Bluefield State. The athletics are growing in the right direction. I think the school likewise is growing in the right direction. And the leadership and just the direction everything's going. I'm really excited to be here not only today, but as an employee at Bluefield State College where I got to attend and learned a lot of great valuable lessons, not only in the classroom, but on the baseball field and maybe so after hours in that Bluefield area. But I will leave that at that, but I'm glad to be part of this panel.
Good morning, guys. I'm Jay Gray again. I'm born and raised here in Bluefield, Grandma graduate, Bluefield State graduate of 2000. I taught in Talbot County for 3 years before I decided to leave the next. I've been in Charlotte teaching and coaching for the last 18 years. It's always good to be back. I like the way the direction of the school and the campus is going. So anytime Dr. Guyton or Ms. Trier or Coach Price call, I'll be right here. So this is home. It's always been home. So anytime you guys need, I'm here.
Thank you. Let me pass it over here to our lovely ladies.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brianna Vineyard, or Bree Vineyard, whichever one you prefer. I graduated from Bluefield State in December of 2017. I then went on to Winston-Salem State University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina in 2018 to pursue my master's, and from there I worked as a supervisor for veterans, and I ran an office there for 2 years. And I recently just finished my master's, and I'm now the director of the Key Center in Fairfax, Virginia, and I will actually be moving there this weekend. Bluefield State is home. And I say that because when I was at Bluefield State, I learned so many different things. I was connected to so many different people. I was able to network, to be able to branch out, to pursue my goals and my dreams. And now I'm just looking forward to just see what else I can get my hands into. And anytime Bluefield State needs me, I will be sure to be here if I can.
Good morning. I'm Kelly Pulowski. I'm from Princeton, West Virginia. I was a two-sport athlete at Bluefield State in cross country and basketball. Graduated in 2012. After Bluefield State, I went on to West Virginia University and received my first doctorate. I'm currently an attorney in Charleston, West Virginia, and I've lived there about 6 years now.
Thank you again, alums, for coming in and being a part of this homecoming week. And I want to thank Ansel Ponder right now, who's our chief marketing officer, for getting this done. So let's talk about family first as our first topic. Many HBCUs have large populations of Pell Grant eligible or low income and first generation college students who are less likely to stay the course and graduate. As we know, this means that support systems are critical for student success and positive outcomes. So my first question is, how important was your support system to your success throughout the college? And I'm going to go with the ladies first since I went over here to the men. Kelly, you want to start this conversation?
The reason I'm friends with because I was from Princeton. Still want to continue to play sports and have my parents be able to put them on games. It's very important to me to be close to home right after high school because of my career and stuff. As far as the family environment here, I can still turn to this side of 9 years later and be able to receive help and guidance on anything I need, as well as a lot of the professors I have here and coaches and various other things. Some of my best friends in my life came from my time here, who I consider still my family. The small environment here is a family environment, and everybody is willing to help you and give you tough love when you need it.
So there is saying that it literally takes a village, and I think that is very true when it comes to Bluefield State, because if it wasn't for the people that I met at Bluefield State, I don't know if I would have necessarily finished a bachelor's degree, because it had gotten so hard that I was like, you know what, school isn't just for me, but just like Kelly had said, it was professors here, it was faculty and staff here, such as Ms. Mary Mason, because my mom from Bluefield State, or like Dr. Biden, or Ms. Tree, or Ms. Joyce, Dr. Sim, these people who encouraged you and motivated you to keep going and to not give up, and to tell you, it may be hard right now, but the end is going to be so worth it, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do, just don't give up. Because if you give up at something that's this small, imagine getting something much bigger and you giving up, and you're fumbling the ball almost. So it's like a lose. So I was very appreciative for my family here at Bluefield State because they helped push me into a lot of different things and connect me to a lot of different people. So it really meant a lot to be being here at Bluefield State.
Zach, you want to take this one?
Sure, yeah. My time at Bluefield State was an interesting one. I already spent some time in the military and was probably on the last leg of my baseball career. But Coach Hunter was one of the many people who was at the forefront of helping me out when I got to Bluefield State. Dr. Crockett was a tremendous professor in the English department. I always kind of lean to when I have, very much not only academic questions, but some life questions as well. And when I worked here in the kitchen, I got there. John White was also a tremendous figure along with Dr. Blevins that I could kind of go to and have a voice that I knew I could trust. And speaking of Dr. Blevins, at the time when I was a student here, I was beginning to gain interest in being a broadcaster, getting on the radio. We had an internet-based radio station here that essentially just rotated songs for 24 hours. I know a couple of us that worked here in the kitchen had kind of talked to Dr. Blevins to let us take over some of the station a couple of hours a week and put together a show. I hope never gets out there because I would probably be embarrassed to hear some of the things that we did on the air, but nevertheless, it was a step forward in the career direction that I wanted to take, although those programs weren't here at the time. It was an outlet for me to kind of grow and see that this was something that I wanted to do. So it very much like both young women have spoke already, there was a family atmosphere. There was people here that you could grasp on and trust and speak to very openly and not be judged whatsoever. And I thought that aspect kind of was part of the education. That it wasn't that you're just going to class and doing homework and spending time on certain subjects. You do where these instructors, these professors, these adjuncts and even, up on Hill with Dr. Buttons was the president. You could trust them, and you knew that they had your back very much like the administration that we have here now.
Okay.
Anybody that knows me knows family means more to me than anything. So making the decision to stay here in Bluefield State was an easy one for me. Being from Bluefield, Virginia, my grandmother who just turned 95 was a 1948 graduate of Bluefield State Teachers College. Just a whole bunch of family members that come through Bluefield State. Decided to stay home and play ball was easy. Because my friend from the neighborhood could come 3 miles up the street to the games. It was easy to look and see Miss Tree, her husband in the stands, my mom and dad. Just everybody from the neighborhood came to every home game. So it was that made it real easy. And once I got on campus, Miss Guyton kind of took me under her wing. I worked downstairs in the student room with Miss Bratton for 6 years. I was here for 6 years. Because my first year, I was ineligible. And that first year I took no general studies classes. So when I decided to change my major, they were like, we pretty much started over. So I did all business classes for a year and a half before anybody told me that I shouldn't have done that. But once I got to Miss Guyton, Miss Velma Bradshaw, Miss Bratton was here with me every day. It made it a whole lot easier. Miss Cookie Martin was like an aunt to me also. Just having them every corner I go in each building, somebody a familiar face with a lot easier.
Keep that a minute, Jay. As a student here at Bluefield State, whether you're first generation or just coming in because you've received, someone in your family has received a degree, there will be challenges that arise in which your peers may be unfamiliar with, such as working while in school, first person in your family to attend college, playing sports, and just family responsibilities. What advice do you offer students in this position?
Just be patient. It's time is going real tough for you. Like I said, I knew my first year and a half was tough. That first year, when I couldn't play because my test scores weren't right. The first time in my life that I hadn't been able to do what I've done for 17, 18 years. I was practicing with the team, but I couldn't make the trip. My friends from the neighborhood were still in playing football, and I was miserable. I was just miserable. So it took a lot of patience and a lot of soul searching and a lot of self-discipline to get through that first year before I got my chance to get on the court. I wanted to transfer, but of course, I talked to my grandmother, my mom and dad. I was already in school and it was already free. Because Brown School gave me a scholarship even though I was ineligible. So that helped me in the decision also. Be patient, close mouth don't get fed, so find somebody who you can confide in. If you need something, you gotta find somebody and ask them. Maybe that person can direct you in the right to the right person, or down the right path. Like I say, honestly, and I say it all the time. Without Miss Diamond and Miss Martin, when I did change my major education, I would have made it through it. They were over in the PE building, so I saw them every day when I got in that building. When we were in the business building, I didn't see those places. So again, to be patient, have a lot of self-discipline, and find somebody who can confide in.
Bree?
So what I would say is first generation college student, is someone who has a poor job about being a full-time student, taking to 1 hour, I would say find yourself 3 good people on campus that you can confide in, that you can trust, and that you can also receive feedback from. Because sometimes we always want to hear the good, we always want somebody to pat us on the back and stuff like that, but sometimes you have to have someone that's going to give you that tough love, that's going to show you or tell you what it is that you're doing wrong and what it is that you can do in order to get to where you need to be. And go to the events on campus. Go out and explore. Like Ray said, if you would have just stuck in the business building, you would have never seen any of these other faces. If I would have just stuck over in the basic science building, I would have never seen the faces over in the PE building, in the business building, in Conley Hall, and alumni affairs, over across the street where the engineers are, the nurses are. I would have never seen those faces. I would have never met those people. So go out and explore and introduce yourself to people. Tell them who you are and who they are, so you can make those connections. And then once you've done that, you need to find yourself 3 to 5 people outside in the community, because someone may not have a family support system at home that they can go and confide into, but you need to find people in the community that will support you and that will also motivate you and help connect you to those people, but also be able to tell you about yourself and give you that tough love, because connections are going to be everything as you get older, as you progress, as you find out what you like, what you don't like, what job you want to work, what job you don't want to work, the population you want to work with. So it's very important to go out and meet those people and to also be patient and to know that everything isn't going to fall in your lap in that one semester or even in that first year, but just know that something new is going to happen as you go throughout each semester.
I got another question for you, Kelly. Based on your based on your experience, what can students do to not only get more involved on campus, but to get their families to do so as well?
To be more involved on campus, talk to your professors. A lot of them are heads of different organizations, whether it's Phi Beta Gamma or various other ones. By getting involved with your professors and getting into those organizations, they're national organizations. They can benefit you all the way along the line, as well as just as Bree mentioned, leave basic science, leave other buildings and talk to people. You can join Model UN. There's a various amount of trips. Please continue on those. And just be involved with what you can manage and what you're capable of. Don't be secretary of your club if you can attend for 1 meeting a semester. So give it your all and be honest with yourself and what you're capable of doing and what you simply don't have time to do.
Thank you. And now I'm going to ask Zach to give me his expertise.
Well, I would say, when I was a student here, very much, Kelly and I were here at the same time. We had whitewater trips, snowboarding trips, a lot of things going on campus that I would invite all the students to take full advantage of. You meet a little bit different group. If you're on a baseball team and a football team, there's a lot more different people that will take these trips, and you'll meet a different group of friends. For the family aspect of it, especially if you're local, I invite them to every game, anything on campus, which is above and beyond what we had when we were on campus. There wasn't much going on campus other than our games, and a lot of those weren't even on campus. I would invite all family, especially this week. We've got an entire week of events that everyone can be a part of, especially outside here in the community. I think it's a great time that people outside Bluefield State can kind of absorb what Bluefield State's all about, a little bit more so than what we were granted when we were here. But the great thing about where I grew up, 40 minutes south of here in Newcastle County, my family could attend those games, and I think that's a great thing for a lot of the local athletes. A lot of those from out of the area and making trips as well. So I think that's been a great time to the athletes that we brought in out of the district in the past couple of years. So I think as an institution, we've done a great job of adding events that not only students can be involved in, but also local family members and students, and then it kind of draws, if there's just one event, a homecoming parade, if there's no game, how likely are we to pull in these outside people? We've got a homecoming parade, and then you've got a game, we've got everything going on around that Saturday. I think that's entices more people from outside the area to come back home, especially alum like Jay, who's working in Charlotte now. I'm not going to speak for you, but had this not been an entire week of events, it would have been hard pressed for you to get away from work if it was just 1 or 2 events. So I think that's a key to this entire situation, that we're building upon a great foundation that we've had for years that has been kind of stagnant, and you can see a lot of not only families embracing it, but the community embracing it, and those outside the area are thinking about coming home, very much like Mr. Gray did this week.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to heritage and tradition. HBCUs were established in the United States in the 19th century out of a necessity. Most U.S. colleges at the time prohibited black students from attending. Today, there are more than 100 institutions in the United States that identify as HBCUs, serving around or approximately 300,000 students of every race, creed, and color. That's just 3% of all higher education institutions in the United States, but 10% of all black students matriculating through U.S. colleges are enrolled at HBCUs, according to McKinsey and Company. In addition, 17% of all bachelor's degrees and 24% of all STEM-related bachelor degrees earned by black students in the United States were conveyed by HBCUs, according to that 2019 report. So my question is, today we educate over 1,300 students who will go on to be working professionals. Is Bluefield State and other HBCUs more important now than ever before? Kelly?
I would say yes, the more important now than ever before. It's very important to have in place, especially in today's job force, to really highlight the STEM profession and realize that technology is leading the way in every institution from here on out. Whether it's in cybersecurity or maintaining roads and infrastructure, it's very important to highlight that the HBCU is still very historical and still very traditional, but also guided with the foresight to monitor the degrees and the stuff to lead to success on those student values.
Bree, you want to pass that on to Bree and let's get her idea?
Our HBCUs are more important now
Than ever before.
HBCUs have always been important. And I think HBCUs are important now more than before because it allows not only all students, but students of color to know that you can be anything that you want to be, regardless of what the color of your skin looks like. That you are getting connected to people that are doctors, that are nurses, that are engineers, that will be able to show you, like, if I've got this far, whatever, you can get this far as well. You can do the same thing. Actually, you can go above me. If you want to go and work for NASA, you can do that. If you want to go and work for the White House, you can do that. So I think HBCU will be able to give those students a push into knowing that whatever you set your mind out to do, no matter how big the goal is, no matter how ridiculous it may seem, you will be able to do that if you are connected with the HBCU. Not to say that you won't be able to do that if you're connected to a PWI, but I think it's a little bit more special if it comes from HBCU.
I'm going to follow up with that and ask you, why do you think it's more important when it comes from an HBCU rather than a non-HBCU?
I'm sure we'll answer that.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I personally believe that when you go to a PWI, and before I came to Bluefield State, I did go to a PWI in Charleston, West Virginia for 1 year, my first year. And it was just more so, you just went to the class, you did the work, you turned it in, and you went on about your business. The professors really didn't care who you were, they really didn't care what your last name was, you either passed or you failed, and that was that. But when you came to an HBCU, those professors actually cared if you knew APA format, if you knew MLA format, and if you actually knew what you were talking about. They actually took time to read those papers and see, okay, does he or she know what she's talking about? They would actually call you and, for lack of better words, they would just tell you about yourself, and they would be real with you and let you know this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable in my class, and it shouldn't be acceptable anywhere outside of this. And so they would get to know you on a personal level, and that's not an experience that I personally had on a PWI or my colleagues have had going to a PWI. They always tell me, I wish I would have been to an HBCU because you get that more intimate experience. You get people who care about you, people who will push you out, people who care about, what your grades are looking like. A C is just not going to do it. You need to be striving for a B or an A. And at a PWI, sometimes they just don't care.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So graduates of HBCUs today are 51% more likely to move into a higher income quintile than graduates of non-HBCUs. The average mobility across the U.S. colleges, or across all U.S. colleges, is 1.6%, but the average mobility rate for HBCUs is 3%. Mobility rate is just this: the percent of students who have parents in the bottom 20% of the income distribution and reach the top 20 of the income distribution. Knowing this, I'm going to ask my men this. Knowing this, what does it mean to you to be a graduate of an HBCU?
For me, now more than ever, I feel like it's very important. I've learned more about Bluefield State being an HBCU and what it stood for back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Since I've been in Charlotte than I did when I was living there. If I walk around, look anywhere in North Carolina with a Bluefield State shirt on, somebody will educate me on them being in the CIAA back in the 40s and 50s, or how they used to travel to Bluefield, or how Bluefield used to travel to their school, Winston-Salem, or Charlotte, or Richmond. So, in today's climate, with HBCUs being pushed the way that they are, I take great pride in saying that I graduated from one. Regardless of what the demographics are, I graduated from one. You can't deny that. I do want to go back to the previous question about this HBCU being more important now. I actually think they were more important back when we started, because if we didn't have them then those men and women back then had no way to go to school. So I think they were more important back then, not to say they're not important now. Again, like Brianna said, it's nice and quaint when you can go into a class with a teacher and it's 15 to 16 people in the room versus you going in a class with 160 people in there, and the teacher not knowing who you are, or not even knowing that you're anyone. But I take great pride in letting people know that I graduated from HBCU, regardless of the demographics. You can't take their history from us, and I'm going to wear my Bluefield State shirt every day.
Yeah, the follow-up on the fact of the matter was, like I mentioned earlier, I grew up about 35 to 40 minutes south here. I grew up in a trailer park. We had black kids, we had Hispanic kids, we had white kids. We didn't know the difference. We all just knew we were so it's like a big deal. We weren't really, I don't like people because they're black. I don't like people. We all knew we loved each other because we had each other's backs, and that was probably one of the great things that not only transitioned from there into my military career, but here as well, that the diversity, even though, 18 years ago when I was a student here, it wasn't as diverse as it is now. It was the fact that we were all going towards a greater goal here at Hbcu that I thought was just a tremendous effort that I had, black friends on the baseball team. We all, especially, you see that come full circle now, that all the athletes support each other, not only in volleyball and football. It was the same way when I was a student athlete. We didn't care whether you were brown or purple. We all were students here at Bluefield State. We were trying to strive towards winning a couple of ball games and getting that degree and moving on in life. And I've seen the difference in myself getting a degree from here when, like Jay had talked about moving to Charlotte. As soon as I left here, I went to Charlotte and started working in radio, and people would ask where you graduated from. I graduated from Bluefield State at Hbcu. The workforce is very diverse. You're going to be working with a lot of different ethnicities, people who came from different backgrounds, and I think that solidified in me here at Bluefield State that there's going to be a lot of people different than you that you're going to have to work with and understand where they come from before you can all achieve a greater goal. And I think here at Bluefield State, now more than ever, it's a great environment to be in. We're growing our athletic program. We're becoming a little more diverse than we were a decade ago, maybe 2 decades ago. So I feel that, yes, HBCUs were important back when that was the only education that black individuals could get. But right now, for white individuals such as myself, I can work here at HBCU an institution where I can work with this guy, Derek Price, and we can all achieve a great goal to support not only our athletes, but our individual students as well.
Okay, so now we're resurrecting a sense of pride and tradition in so many ways here on campus. One of those is by referencing our alma mater, the Bluefield State hymn, High Upon Thy Terraced Hills, in a contemporary fashion by showcasing the hill on digital and print collateral. So how can we further this cultural heritage to ensure that we celebrate our roots? How can we further this cultural heritage? What it's in the Bluefield State Hill, in the Bluefield State hymn, High Upon the Terrace Hills, and actually it's we see these strong and true. How do we further this cultural heritage to ensure that we celebrate our roots when we brand it as the hill?
I think it's important to continue to have positive press, to continue to put us out there, the football team being 13th in the nation right now, to continue to get the name out there. When we talk to alumni are happy to bring from such a good culture, good background. So just the positiveness of being here for 4 years, getting your degree, and then talking about it in positive light is the best way to create a culture and an environment that we have lived and now that we can talk about.
Great.
I would agree with my sister, the best way to go about it. The town of Bluefield is a football town, and a lot of people surround their time around football, so, and just sports in general, so I would just piggyback off of that and just, say about all the positive things, the football team is doing, the wrestling team is doing, the tennis team, the soccer team, the track team, how well they're doing not only in sports, but how well they're doing in athletics as well. Because people forget, you have to be successful in the classroom before you can be successful on the field or in any sport. So I think it's important to not only push off the football team, but to also push off how they are doing in the classroom. What else are you doing outside of being in the classroom or being on the football field? Are you in the emerging leaders? Are you a part of SGA? Are you on any committee? Are you in the broadcasting field? What else are you doing on this campus? What are you doing out in the community where you represent Bluefield State as a whole?
Well-rounded individuals.
I totally agree with what you just said. All you guys that are student athletes now, just be positive individuals, try to get back to the community as much as you can. Have pride in being here at Bluefield State. I know when I put that jersey on, and they said Bluefield off my chest, it meant something to me. I took everything serious, because I didn't want to let my family down. I didn't want to let, as we say, our cross and track family, our business down. So just find something to have some pride in. If you enjoy being here, to make the best of it, come back and visit, whatever. 'Cause I know my family is all on board. I'm definitely all on board. You know, I'll lose my life on the second and it comes to a game. Like I left this morning, I left last week, it came for Saturday, tailgate, it canceled the game, but I was in. So, you know, she had a second guess, I'm gone, I'll be back. But this is, again, to me, family, this is my community, so I take pride in everything you guys are doing. Price know right out of that, Raiders know right out of that. If they need anything, they call, answer, you already know. So just, we got to instill that in the kids that are on campus, and I think everything will be okay. Because the community is changing at a rapid pace, and I love it. You know, it's a lot of hustle going on, and we're the rest of things right now. I'm disappointed that I'm not getting to see it every day, but I'm proud of what you guys are doing.
On the same note, you know, we as an athletic department in the school period, hashtag guard the hill. You go to a West Virginia game or an Ole Miss game, Monty Todd, everyone's screaming, or let's go Hokies if you're not Blacksburg. For years we didn't have them on. You just saw Bluefield State and shook your hand and you went on. But now, guard the hill is kind of this thing that's taken off that student athletes, you know, it's kind of how they build each other up. You can see it at a volleyball match when all the student athletes and other students are there, you know, chanting guard the hill on Saturdays for football. I think it's been, you know, Ansel is part of this as well, this whole rebranding of Bluefield State athletics. We have a mascot that doesn't look like a cartoon Tasmanian devil. It's an actual dog. You know, you can go up and pet. Everyone loves blue. And I think the rebranding has brought everyone together. Everyone, you know, no one cares when I'm going on the air. Everyone says, where's blue? He's down there, go pet him. You know, guard the hill, hashtag guard the hill, and just started to take off as well. So I think it's those type of things that we've done recently to kind of bring alumni like you home, guard the hill. And I think it's going to build into something really great. And I think not only the student athletes, but the students as well, have taken a lot of pride into that. And I think with that pride takes, you go out and you do more things. You have a community day where you go pick up some trash because you don't like how the road leading up to campus looks. You stand up for your individual student no matter what color they are. So I think a lot of this rebranding has built a very solid family bonding type thing here on campus, and it's only going to grow into something that I don't think any of us know what kind of level we're going to get to in the future.
And just remember that once you matriculate and graduate, it becomes the hill for life. Today, HBCUs are taking on a new mission in the 21st century. It is important to remember that we just aren't exclusively black colleges and universities, as we serve more white students than black students in some cases. In fact, this past freshman class may be the most diverse student body in school history. For example, the student body has over 30 states and 10 countries Roughly 33% are minority students, and over 1/4 of which are African American. My question is, do you believe that Bluefield State has expanded its mission as an institution, or is still fulfilling it now? And let me just give you a quick fact, that HBCUs supply more black applicants to medical schools than non-HBCU institutions, and HBCUs have graduated 40% of all black engineers, 40% of all black U.S. Congress members, 50% of all black lawyers, and 80% of all black judges. These institutions enroll more than twice as many Pell Grant, as I said earlier, eligible students and non-HBC institutions, and help create economic mobility for underserved populations. So I'll go back to that question again. Do you believe that Bluefield State has expanded its mission as an institution, or is it still fulfilling it now? Bree.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about
Okay. Do you believe that Bluefield State has expanded its mission as an institution, or is still fulfilling it now? Have we expanded it, or are we fulfilling it?
Just from my experience and listening from when I was here as a student, I think it's still fulfilling it because Bluefield State is growing. And I will tell you this, that I see more faces on campus now than I did whenever I was here as a student, because Bluefield State is a non-traditional school in my opinion, because you have individuals who are 25 years and older coming back to get that bachelor's degree, and they're not walking around campus, they're not on campus. So I think Bluefield State is still fulfilling it as it grows, and I think it will grow really quickly as things progress on campus.
Kelly?
I think the answer is that if you have a goal and you meet it, you don't stop there. You create another goal to work towards to achieve. So the goalpost is always moving as every small step of the goals are accomplished. Then you know you can do more, you can continue to grow, continue to develop. So I do think the answer is both, but I think we're making realistic goals that are challenging to achieve and yet fulfilling them, and surpassing our expectations, and keep moving the goalposts to continue to grow, continue to develop the student body and develop the alumni who come out of here.
Thank you. Okay, Zach? And Jen?
You know, a little over a year ago, I was hired here at Bluefield State, and when Derek Price and I were talking about coming back, I told him, and I've shared this a few times, that this college was the same it was, 15, 20 years ago. We wouldn't be talking for many reasons, but I think the growth here, answers the question for itself. So many different programs. We were, Keith Olson and I were in a meeting yesterday about some expanding of programs here academically that could draw a new brand of student in. Athletics, I think first and foremost, has brought in 80 football players this year. Baseball brought in another 35, 40. We had a few other sports. So, the population is growing in the right direction. I think a lot of the professors here know that on a greater scale, you've got to teach at a different level now with what's going on in the world. And this place right here is one of the more diverse places in the HBCU environment that you can get an education. I had the pleasure of traveling with our football and basketball teams to other HBCUs, and by far, we are the most diverse campus that you can envision. And kind of going back to one of my earlier answers, the workforce is very diverse. If you can interact in a diverse area such as Bluefield State, you can hold down a great job and grow in corporations or education or medical field in that diverse environment. So I think Bluefield State right now is one of these places that I think is going to draw in a lot of people once they see that this campus is diverse and you can get a great education here for very affordable and go out and get into the workforce at a higher level than a lot of other people, whether it be a state or a private institution here locally for that.
Just thinking about the statistics that this guy talked about.
That's fine, this guy is fine.
We have to make sure that our student athletes that we recruit come in with some kind of idea of what they want to major in. We have a great nursing program here, technology and engineering. So I think as far as recruiting other students, maybe visit and recruit students, regular students, not just athletes, at schools that have STEM programs. I had the opportunity to teach at Bluefield Academy of Technology in Charlotte. It's predominantly black, probably 95% black students. And some of those kids don't want to go to a regular HBCU because they feel like that's all they've been around their whole life. Coming here would be great for them because it's a little more diverse. There's a lot more diverse. And we already have the degree programs that they're interested in. I know there we have a medical science program, we have computer science program, so they would fit in perfect as soon as they get out of high school. Most of them already have college credits. They go to Central Piedmont and get those extra credits while they're in high school for free. I talked to Mr. Capon a while back about STEM technology. Here at Bluefield State, the high schools here, but the high schools here have to be on board. We just have to, find a school, a high school within the area, within a good driving distance. We can send our Bluefield State recruiters to sit in those cafeterias and those halls to get those kids. And I think it'll be even more diverse population here on campus.
Thank you. So we've talked about heritage, tradition. Let's talk about perseverance. And according to the dictionary, perseverance is described as steady persistence in a course of action, a purpose, a state, and especially in spite of difficulties, obstacles, or discouragement. In a biblical context, perseverance is described this way: let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. As for you, brothers, do not grow weary in doing good, for you have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised. What characteristics make up perseverance? And how important is grit or toughness, or how important was grit and toughness in your journey? And can I start with you?
It is very important. College is amazing. That's why so many people don't finish. But you have to do everything in your power to prepare and be ready for it, whether it's time management and not overloading yourself, or whether it's taking, a hard class with one of these rec classes that you still have to show up and attend and do everything, but it doesn't use the mental focus as calculus does. So never giving up is easily learned in college, but continues throughout your entire career. If you persevere and you continue to work hard and not overload yourself, but also organize and manage your time and understand what you need to do and how to do it, then it will follow you all the way through life and you try to accomplish.
Bree?
a really great answer. I did not prepare for college in no way, and college was not what it seemed to be when you went on the tours, what it looked like when you were watching TV. College is very hard. I'm going to be very honest with you. It's extremely hard. And like Kelly said, a lot of students don't make it through to the end because it is very hard. I worked 4 jobs when I was at Bluefield State. I had my brother whom I was raising, so I was trying to raise him, trying to be there for him in sports and stuff like that, trying to take on 18 to 21 credits to finish up my degree, trying to help him apply to college and do all this stuff. And it was hard. There was no organization or time management. I honestly didn't really learn what organization was and time management was until I got to my graduate degree. I just went with the flow because it was just like, it was so much being thrown at you, and it was just like, well, being thrown at me, I'm just speaking for myself. And it was a struggle. It was hard. I'm going to be very honest. It was very, very hard. But again, the support system on campus, the support system in the community helped me to keep going on and to show my brother that you can do this. Regardless of how hard it is, you have to work 5 jobs, and this is a goal that you want to reach, you can do it. You just have to keep pushing, and you just have to think to yourself, like, in the end, this is what I want. In order to get what I want, this is what I have to do. And from that struggle, and I thank God for that struggle, that I'm a 2-time Hbcu graduate, and I'm even going on to even pursue my doctorate. And so if it had not been for that struggle and me persevering through all of that, like, I don't think I would be where I am today. So I'm going to be very honest with you. If you aren't an organized person, or if you don't have really good time management, or if you don't have that support system, you really have to find something within yourself to keep going. Because if you don't, then you will give up and you won't accomplish your goals. So I'm just going to be very honest with you. College is hard. Know that it's hard. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would have those degrees. But you just have to find that one little light, that one little speck of light that's going to keep you going, because it is extremely hard. And everybody has a different background, because this is a non-traditional school, and people have different backgrounds when they come into college. When you were in high school, things you may have done there, so you have to think about all of those things and how that affects you when you go into college, and how it will affect you when you go through college, and even when you get out. So just know that this is real, and you're going to need to be real with yourself and set some realistic goals, and just be real.
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Exactly.
Well, I think toughness and grit is kind of embedded in me from an early age, especially in my situation. I watched my father work 2 jobs. I watched my mother really young go through nursing school, then work 10, 12-hour days. My clothes were always clean. There was always food on the table. I never missed a ride at practice. So, I grew up watching that firsthand. So when it came to, I don't have time, or I don't feel up to it, those excuses were not heard in my household. Those were things that you kind of laughed at. You utter those words. It was always the fact that toughen up, you've got something to do. You're not going to let yourself down. You're not going to let your team down. You're going to go out there and put forth your best effort, whether it's in the classroom, on the field, or when you get older, at your job, because any corporation, someone else is depending on you to do your job. So I think that was instilled in me at an early age. And the great thing about when I made it to Bluefield State, I was a lot older than some of my teammates and some of my classmates, but also I was a couple of years younger than some of them. A lot of people had come back to school to study whatever it was here at Bluefield State. So I saw that firsthand, that those non-traditional students that were making their way back to Bluefield State to achieve that goal, a lot of them, I would say probably 95% of them that I talked to said, just go ahead and finish while you're here, because they had to come back, a lot of things they had to retake, relearn, and they said, it'll just be easier on you if you go ahead and get it done the first time. So a lot of those things were instilled in my head, and the toughness and grit kind of was embedded in me from the start.
And I think perseverance and toughness. First thing that comes to mind is my mom and my dad. So my mom has worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs since I was 3 years old. I'm 45, she's still working 2 jobs. My dad washed dishes for a living until I was probably a junior in high school. And he always told me, if you don't want to have what he called dishpan hands, then you will go to school. But he said, you got to have a plan, but you're not going to always be able to play football or basketball. Now, in our neighborhood, you had to be tough to live across those tracks. And I grew up in Crescent View and on Depot Street there. You had to be really tough as a kid in our neighborhood. You know, there's no other way around it. My friends, I wouldn't even call them my friends, my brothers, we all, I'm not going to say here, we hold each other accountable for everything that we do. We've been friends for, Ms. Linda, how long? Since we were 2, 3, 4 years old. So for 42 years, we've all been good at it. None of us live in the same city, but we all hold each other accountable for everything that we do. If one of us is slacking, it doesn't mean you're going to get there by phone calls from the rest of us until you tell the board. I expect Fred or Karen or Billy or George or Cece or any of Caroline to call me, say you're not doing right. And they expect the same out of me. So with perseverance, we gotta have a strong support system, even outside of my brothers. I already know Miss Trigg, Miss Oates. It doesn't have to be my mother or my Aunt Bill or my Uncle Mike or anybody directly related to me. Anybody in that neighborhood can stop me and say, get yourself together. You better than this, you know better than this, and that's just the way it was. And actually in our neighborhood it's still that way. Our neighborhood or our village is one of the only neighborhoods I know where your kid can still get in trouble by a neighbor. You know, and I love it. I miss being home and not getting that on a daily basis. But those kids walk through that neighborhood, you already know somebody is looking to see what you're doing. If you're not doing right, they're going to get on you, then they're going to call the parents, you're going to get in trouble again. But my perseverance definitely came from my mom and dad. Again, my mom still works 2 jobs. She's 63, I don't know how she's still working 2 jobs. She teaches, and then we're working in Newcastle. And I can't get her to sit still. But then she'll tell me the same thing. She'll say, you won't sit still. And then my dad would go working for $3.75 at the time, minimum wage, washing dishes at the Holiday Inn. And all I can hear him say is, you don't want to do this, then you go shoot that basketball and get that degree. And you won't ever have to worry about doing on that anymore. And I love teaching, I love coaching, and I definitely don't want to get big enough. But again, just find you a family that is going to look after you and push you, and then try to get a whole lot of self-discipline and self-confidence, and you're going to be all right.
Hold the mic. We're talking about success now. And as you can see, all of our panel are successful in what they do and what they've become. So, Jay, starting with you, what is your definition of success?
Definitely, I feel like I'm successful. It has nothing to do with having money. Because I teach you, y'all know I'm not making that much. But success to me is just better in the situation that you were previously in. Again, I'm a typically land in Preston Field. We're not supposed, I'm not supposed to be sitting up here talking to you guys right now when we think about the way society is set up. Again, going back to my friend, we push each other to be great. We won't settle for less, and we won't have it any other way. All of us are successful in our own way. Again, it has nothing to do with money, because again, I'm a middle school teacher. There's only so much money I'm going to be able to make. But coming from the situation I came from, the neighborhood I came from, which was nothing but love, but I'm not supposed to be, by statistics, I'm not supposed to be sitting here talking to you guys like that. I've got, again, and I keep looking at this tree, I've got one friend that will never get out of jail. That's something he did when we were in 11th grade. I've got one friend that was using drugs and just did 21 years for using drugs. He wasn't selling. I've never seen anybody get that much time for using drugs. But that was just the environment that we were in. We made the best of it. So, anything that we were possible, that's a success. But it could have been the other way, or a lot of it. And as you see, you guys that are from Bluefield, you guys see how God's going to be the other way. So answer, I'm super proud of you, man. You know, you could have been winning the other way also.
Zach?
Yeah, very much on that same note. I grew up in a trailer park. As I mentioned earlier, there were people next door who were selling drugs to get by. There were guys that I grew up with that are no longer here, whether it be incarcerated or dead. Success for my father was not selling drugs. He was making an honest living, driving a truck and doing some other side jobs to make money to provide for a family. That was success to him. You know, he wasn't doing what the neighbors were doing, and they probably made a lot more money than he did. Plain and simple, but success to him was providing for his family in an honorable fashion. Success to me was getting out of that situation. I used sports. I've told a few people this. Had it not been for sports, I probably would have been down the wrong path in school. I use sports as the fact that I have to keep my grades up to stay on the field or on the court, and I did that for 13 years, starting in kindergarten all the way up, and pretty much the same thing when I got to college. Sports was a tool to better myself. I find myself successful making my way back here to Bluefield State to be a part of this program that is growing daily in the right direction. So success is always a different thing for different people, especially with the kind of environment that you find yourself in growing up. So find your spot that you can better yourself. If your family comes from wealth, then find your spot to be more wealthy than your father or your grandfather was. Whatever happened, just find that niche that makes you different and build upon that. That's success to me.
Thank you. Kelly?
I would define success as being proud of what I've accomplished, what I've been able to overcome, and being rewarded now, being able to help others.
To me, my experience is, because of the statistics, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have accomplished things that I have been able to right now. And the background from where I come from, we're going to tell y'all the story. But it's by the, I can literally tell some stories to people like, ain't no way, and I'm like, oh, yes, way. But it's literally by the grace of God that I am where I am today. That I've made it this far and I'm still going forward. Because to me, I looked at my situation, I looked at the community I was in, with my HUD, with my welfare, the HUD, not a HUD, but a HUD neighborhood, a welfare neighborhood. It's not your typical great neighborhood. It wasn't people in the neighborhood that I could follow on. So I would sit in my room and I would often think like, don't want to be like those women that I see on the street. I don't want to be with a man like I see on the street and stuff like that. So one day, I was just sitting there, and I don't know what it was. I'm gonna say it was God. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to not be here together? So I had to sit there and think of, okay, it's not how many degrees I can have, it's not how much money I can make, but it's setting a goal and going after that goal and accomplishing it, and not stopping there, but to keep going. Because you can make all the money in the world and still not be successful. You can be so unhappy, just miserable, and you're not doing anything with your time. So to me, success is being able to be happy, helping those people that I want to help, telling a real story and keeping it real. Like, this is what happened in my life, and this is how I got here. It's almost like giving a testimony in church or whatever. It's by the grace of God, and it's just like, if I can overcome this, I know you can overcome this. So what can I do to help you overcome the situation that you're in, or at least provide a little bit of light to help you keep pushing to where it is you're trying to go?
You just answered my last question. That's okay. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. So, my last question for you would be, what would you tell our students is the most important thing they need to remember as they begin their college journey?
Have some patience. Just have some patience and some self-discipline. You're going to have days that will be real rough, but you'll get through it. Tomorrow always brings brighter days. You know, people, sometimes when I'm reading, I say, how you doing? That is in some of the worst of others. And I'm never wrong with that answer. It could always be worse. But just have some patience and some self-discipline, and you will be okay.
I'm going to flip it. Go ahead.
I would tell, each and every student to have faith in themselves. You're going to, just like Jay just mentioned, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. If you have faith in yourself and faith in the process, you're going to go a long way. If you can persevere in bad days, it's going to make the good days even better. So keep fighting. Have faith in yourself and have faith in those around you, and you're going to be fine.
Kelly?
Don't be afraid to change. If you start college as a science major with your goal of being a doctor, and you hate biology, and you hate chemistry, then don't try to recruit yourself up for 50 years or as you can. Go with the flow, find something you love. You're only stuck working at the building for 50, 60 years. Don't do something because of money. Don't do something because you think your parents want you to do it. Do something that you like, you have interest in. And every day is not going to be the best day of your life, but as long as you don't hate your job and hate your profession, then you'll be a great mistake.
Free.
I would tell the students, as you got heard, well, one, what is it that you love? Find what you love. And go after what you love. Figure out why you love that specific area or whatever population that you want to work with. Figure out how bad you want. Not how bad your parents want it, your grandmother wants it, your friends want it, the people in your community may want it, but figure out why you want it. And I think once you figure out why you want it and why you want to go after that, I think the sky's the limit.
Thank you. This concludes, but do any of you have anything that you feel like you've left out you might want to say? No. Thank you all so much for participating. Thank you all for taking an hour and 10 minutes out of your time today to spend with us. Briefly, do you have any questions? Does the audience have any questions? If not, then I thank you for coming out again this afternoon with our homecoming activities. This is the first of 3 today. We did 3 yesterday, and we're doing 3 today. Is the color run at 5 o'clock at the city park. And once you conclude the color run, you're invited, the students are invited to participate in a pool party from 7 to 9 o'clock. So without ado, I want to thank everyone for coming, particularly thank my alums for sharing their experiences and their knowledge and their wealth of knowledge with all of us. Thank you all for coming.